Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Jason. I'm Technical Service Manager here with Leary Company. Today, I'm going to give you some training and a tutorial on our Monet user interface, basically our gluing and detection software. So I'm hoping everybody can see the image on their screen right now. It's the Monet home screen. What I'd like to do first is just give you a short tutorial on how the program is laid out. What we're viewing right now is called the home screen, and it's very easy to remember the home screen because anytime you navigate away from this screen right now, any of the icons along this lower light blue tray, if you go into any of these icons, you can see I went into the very first one in the lower left corner, is now highlighted green. Whenever you leave the home screen, you will have a picture of a house in the bottom right corner. It'll always allow you to go back to the home screen. Okay, so the program layout or the navigation of the program basically consists of the home screen, which you're viewing right now, and all of the icons in this light blue or darker blue kind of bottom tray at the bottom. Everybody can see that. All right, so the home screen is normally utilized. It's usually preferred to be displayed when you're actually in a production mode, when you're actually running production. On the left side of the home screen, it gives you some production information, such as total pieces per hour that you're currently running. There are two speed references, two encoders. We have an encoder A and encoder B reading two different sections of the machine. So this tells us our live linear belt speed, meters per minute. And then we have a feed counting photo cell, which comes from trigger 1. That's what you see in this little icon right here. This is a trigger icon, and it shows us that it's trigger 1. And the trombone, or the end count, is coming from trigger 2, which you can see in this little graphic here. So this is just informational, production information, current pieces per hour, belt speed, and total pieces that have run through the machine. In the center of the home screen, you can see what we call carton template. This is our custom carton template. It could be used for any variation of type of carton that we're actually doing gluing and detection for. You have two means. There's two ways of viewing the home screen. If you just simply touch the carton template image, it'll actually change the image to what we call trigger panel view. So we could see when I touched the panel, it actually broke it into two separate panels. And the first panel at the top is showing me what gluing and detection stations are assigned to trigger 1. So this is the trigger 1 panel. And I could see that glue guns 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all being used with trigger 1. And just below it, you can see the trigger 2 panel. And we could see that glue guns 5, 6, 7, and 8 have trigger 2 assigned to those gluing and detection stations. Okay, when you're in the trigger panel view, it gives you a little bit more information as opposed to when you're just in the carton view. The carton view just shows you the black lines, which are your programmed glue events, and the white lines that appear above it are the actual detected glue events. Again, when I touch the panel and I break it down between the trigger 1 and the trigger 2 panel, it gives me a little bit more information. The number that appears just after the trigger, the 227 millimeters here, that is my current detected length of that carton or that panel. And the number in parentheses just after it is what my initial learn of that panel length was. So the second number in the parentheses does not change. That was my learned value. And the number that appears just after the trigger is the actual live detected length while we run. So if I were to stop my simulator or the machine, you would see the first number just after the trigger change to 0. And you see all the detected patterns go away. Okay. Let me turn my simulator back on. We can also see that on the left side of the home screen, we have two speed references. We have two encoders mounted on the machine because there's two sections that we're performing the gluing and detection application. And what this trigger panel view allows me to see is what glue valves or what trigger is running off the encoder A speed reference versus trigger 2 and valves 5, 6, 7, and 8 are running off the encoder B speed reference. So we've got two different sections of the machine that we're tacking the belt speed, and we have those two different sections assigned to the two different triggers, trigger 1 and trigger 2. So there's no right or wrong way to view the home screen. It's pure preference, whatever you prefer to view. The trigger panel view just gives you a little bit more information as opposed to just the carton view, which only shows the programmed and detected events. On the right side of the home screen, we have these three icons that go vertical. The top one here is our job setup menu. So from the home screen, I can go into this job setup icon, and this is where I can program a new job. So that was the job setup menu in the upper right corner of the home screen. Just below that, we have this icon that kind of looks like a graph. In fact, we do call that our graphs and LED screen. So if I go into the graphs and LED screen, I have these 5 main production charts. Sometimes they're utilized by the end user, sometimes they're not. Some customers may have their own kind of collection service where they're already collecting data information, but we do provide some local data within the controller itself. All right. So again, outside of the home screen, we just have these series of icons at the bottom. So we have the home screen and we have these icons at the bottom, and that's really the Monet navigation. The one we haven't gone into yet is this Leary logo with the gold lightning bolt and the gears. This is what we call the system setup menu. It will always require a password to access the system setup menu. It requires a minimal of a manager level password, which gives you access to some of the system setup features and settings. And then we have an installer level access, which gives you basically every system option within the system setup menu.